like, subscribe, and leave a comment. So here's your review of AEW Rampage and AEW Dynamite. Week commencing the 4th of September. Obviously, this is the show previously the week before if you're in the US. So it starts with a tag team turmoil battle royal. You got the Butcher and Blade, Aussie Open, Hardys, Gates of Agony, Outrunners, Dark Order, Action, and Drykus, I believe. Darius, I believe, and the Best Friends. And the winner was the Dark Order. So congratulations to the Dark Order. Then we have Santana basically telling his story about his passing of his father, getting injured and having to step up in AEW. Then we have Nick Wayne and Vikingo versus the Gringo and Kid Sabian. Obviously, the Kid Sabian doesn't win anything. He never wins. And Vikingo wins. Then we have Johnny TV basically saying he's taking over QTTV. So we will see what he does. Then we have Hangman versus Brian Keith, some guy. Hangman obviously gets the win. Then we had Roderick Strong walk out to an interview. He's having an interview about Adam Cole, but he walks out of it because he wasn't happy. Then in the main event is Anna Jay and Taya versus Sky Blue and Willow, and Sky Blue gets the victory. Then we go up to the Dynamite. Dynamite starts with Orange Cassidy coming out after he lost his AEW International Championship to Jon Moxley. No surprise there because he's the guy, and basically says he'll be back and he ain't going anywhere. Then we have Jon Moxley versus AR Fox for the International Championship in a great match, but obviously Jon Moxley will win. Then we have Christian Cage ripping Nick and basically said he should start following Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. That's Nick Wayne, that is. Then we have Sakura versus Chris Statlander for the TBS title. Really good match, but in the end, Chris gets the win. Then we have Roderick Strong talks about his parents and his parents were abusing substances, and his wrestling basically gave him a way out, and he's basically all alone, poor guy. Then we have Chris Jericho and Sami Zayn versus Aussie Open in a great match, but in the end, Chris Jericho gets the win. Then we have MJF comes out, basically said he's defended the tag team titles and wants to face someone at Grand Slam, but obviously there's a tournament going on. Obviously, Samoa Joe comes out because they had a little altercation, and then basically calls out MJF. And MJF says, what Joe came out so fast because he got MJF's entrance music confused with an ice cream truck, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And Joe wants to know what his problem is. Then basically MJF says he had to try out for told a little story. He had to try out for the WWE. He did a good job. William Regal said he hasn't got the job, but then they bring him back as a jobber, as a security guard for Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe didn't use him and pushed him into the wall basically. And then MJF gets jumped by Joe, so we'll see what happens there. Then we had Roderick Strong versus Trent in a tournament to face who's going to be the new contender for MJF, and Roderick Strong got the victory. Then we had Hangman Adam Page come out, says he gave some money to a charity and he wants to talk about his future. As he said that, Swerve came out and basically started calling out Hangman Adam Page, said he's been on the back burner recently, hasn't been wrestling, hasn't been going after titles, hasn't been doing promo, he's barely been wrestling on any shows. Basically called him out and said he wants his spot. If he doesn't want his spot, he will take it, and then he will be the first black AEW world champion. So we'll see what happens. Then in the main event, it was Darby versus Nick Wayne to advance in the tournament, and Indian Darby Allin got the victory. So that's your review of Dynamite and Rampage.